Hello everybody, Charlie Cummins here again. We're fixing to have the contest of champions. The contestants will be one great mason and 3 mule block laying machines. Now this is a picture of the mule block laying machine. Everybody got it? They only cost $80,000 a piece. And if you're going to build a gigantic wall that is a total of 75 feet long, you got to have 3 of these things. That's $240,000. That's the mule. That's the mule I'm talking about, okay? $240,000 will buy a whole lot of whatever you want, okay? And it's going to be competed against a 77-year-old block layer and 3 wannabe masons who lost their jobs because it went to China or some other country where child and slave labor is cheap. My 3 human beings, we'll call them my human mules, they're going to be young men between the ages of 20 and 50 years old. With luck, I might even have a woman. Depends on who I'm training at the time. All of these people have lost their jobs through displacement, or the job went somewhere else and everything else. So the main thing about the 3 contestants that I'm going to be having, they've never had a trowel in their hand before they met me. They only have 20 hours or less of training. They've never laid a brick, they've never laid a block or anything. There is 3 trainees, okay? Hello everybody, I'm Charlie Cummins, and I learned this great trade in November 1963 in Dallas, Texas. I now teach men and women to lay brick, block, and stone, and I own Phoenix Masonry Training Inc. here in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. I challenge this block laying robot crane thing called a mule. I'm going to challenge this mule machine with what we still call human beings, people that need a job. Okay, now let me describe the teams. I've been told it takes 3 of these mules set up to do a whopping gigantic long wall, 75 feet long. It takes 3 of them. $80,000 a piece times 3, that's $240,000. Therefore, it's only fair for the mule team to have 3 of these mules set up and 1 great mason to run it. Now, the human team, the challenger, is going to be 1 old man, which is me, and my 3 live, breathing, eating, spending money, still called human beings, that we have trained for less than 20 hours of hands-on training. These are people who are wanting to learn the great trade, and we're teaching them. They'll be young human beings between the ages of 20 and 50, 55 years old. And I'm pretty sure all 3 of them lost their job because the plant or their career went to China or some other country where child slave labor is cheap and in demand. You get the picture? My suggestion for rules of this contest of champions. Since it takes 3 mules to do a small wall of 75 feet, then I suggest we build a 8-inch block wall, 74 feet, 8 inches long. That's block work. Let us make this wall 6 courses high, jointed both sides, with 1 or 2 courses being bond beam for rebar and horizontal rebar reinforced masonry walls. Now the old man's team, we prefer 8/8 16-inch standard block or split face. The mule team found a block plant that can make long block, 32 inches long. Therefore, they can use a 32-inch long block if they want to. And if they can find a block plant that can make a block 8 or 10 feet long, they can use it. I don't care. Now, in the event the rebar is stubbed off the footer or the floor for more than 3 feet, which only happens due to non-communication or wrong communication between the architect and the structural engineer, that's another story. However, if the rebar is stubbed up more than 5 or 6 feet, then the old man team, me, will be supplied with 8-inch block with the end cut out of them. So I don't have to lift the block over my head. I never want anyone to say, look at that stupid old man lifting block over his head and throwing the block down over a rebar. That is the dumbest thing that I've seen in a long, long time. That's down in Texas, we call this block with the end cut out of it, we call them end outs. You know, instead of having to lift the block over, you just stick it in there. Isn't that a lot easier? A few more rules. Before the contest starts, both work areas can be set up by hotties with mud boards every 6 feet. The 3 mules, $240,000, they can be set up, and because set up right, because I don't want one of them to fall over on me or on them or anybody. All the walls are going to be stocked correctly with mortar boards every 6 feet and with 1 or 2 bond beams, whatever the wall is going to be. And end outs for me if the rebar's going to be stubbed up 5 or 6 feet. Now the thing I insist on is that we use spec mix mortar. Spec mix mortar is bulletproof. You don't have to measure this or measure that. You just dump it in the mixer and add water. Hard to mess up, hard to miss. The same hotties are going to work both teams. And they can rotate between the mule and the human team and everything else. Also, in the event that the mule team with 3 mules, $240,000 worth of mules, equipment, robots, if they want to go 21 feet, which is what they say is the best for the mules, if you want to go 24 feet with grouted reinforced wall, either solid grout or rebar only, no cleanouts, then the human team, that's me, we insist to either use a grout hog or a hog pump for placing the grout. Don't want no mess ups. And we will only work off of Fraco scaffolding. Fraco. I don't want none of this easy scaffold or cable scaffolding, or I don't even think you could work, well, whoever. I don't know how they hook that. I don't know much about the mule. Okay? Know this, everybody. We all know it. Did we forget? We need high-paying jobs in America. We need tens of thousands of masons to bring back masonry to the United States as it was 50 or 100 years ago. When are we going to put our foot down in this country and stop some of the death and destruction caused by fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes? What is it going to take to admit that 2x4, cheap plywood, chicken wire, and plaster don't cut it when it's up against fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, and earthquakes? Think about this Green Deal. Build with Mother Earth. Save the trees. They're beautiful to look at. Save the trees. Stop making all these boards. Have we all forgotten the story about the 3 little pigs? I mean, we all learned that before we was 5 years old. The smart pig built out of brick. Wow. All right, let's see here. To all you wealthy people and investors who are throwing your money away trying to invent a machine or a robot to replace a human, stop, and start building training centers. Know this, the construction industry. I can take a human being that has never had a trowel in their hand, and in 250 to 300 hours of hands-on training, that's less than 2 or 3 months. I can build a human brick block laying machine that eats, got to have a place to live, and spends that money, which makes our country great. When they finish what I call the Master Mason course, they'll be able to lay 150 modular brick in 1 hour or less. They'll be able to lay 50 8/8 16-inch block in 1 hour or less. They'll be able to build all the corners out of block and brick, corner leads. The final test is they'll be able to build a 2-foot square brick chimney or pier, lay 100 brick in 2 hours or less, build that same size pier out of 8-inch block and lay 24 block in 1 hour or less. Now all of that is jointed, brushed off, and rejointed. Near perfect quality. You can only lay a brick so straight. We teach quality workmanship, okay? And like I said, it just takes 2 or 3 months. That's just less than, 6 weeks, 6 to 10 weeks, okay? Now we also start trainees every Monday, okay? Everybody moves at their own pace. Many of our students work part-time jobs. Some can come 20 hours a week, some can come 50 hours a week. You move at your own pace. When you get to where you can do what I just described, you go to work. We work with employment staffing companies that can get you a job anywhere in the United States of America, okay? And you're going to make high dollar. You'll make top dollar. Now, why does an employment staffing company care how much money you make? They care because the more money you make, the more money they're going to make. Well, that's about it, folks. As Zig Ziglar said, we'll see you at the top. Please hit the subscribe button and all this, and we'll notify you. I also have a book I'm giving away called The Secret of Squaring Up Buildings. All you got to do is call, text, or whatever, and I'll send you a free copy that I've sold for $40 before. It's yours free. That ends this show. Look for more to come. Thank you very much. And once again, this is what we're changing. The old man against the mule.